Good morning, Pittsburgh. Welcome to Pitt to the Point. Live from the state-of-the-art Pitt Studios, I'm Livia Rappaport.
And I'm Andrew Mundy. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning. We'll be covering everything going on at the University of Pittsburgh, all the way to the point. Join us as we cover entertainment, politics, and sports, as well as what's happening right here on Pitt's campus.
Absolutely. Our first story this morning takes place right here in Oakland.
That's right, Livia. Chancellor Patrick Gallagher of the University of Pittsburgh has announced his intentions to step down from his position sometime in the summer of 2023. In his email sent out to the Pitt community, Chancellor Gallagher stated his intent to join Pitt's physics and astronomy department as a professor following the transition period with his successor. With more on the story, we go to our political reporter, Josh Byrne. Josh?
Thanks, Andrew and Livia. Well, you guys said it. It's been quite a chaotic news week here in Pittsburgh. And it all started last Thursday before our recent show, when Chancellor Patrick Gallagher announced to the Pittsburgh Board of Trustees that he is stepping down. And later in the week, it ended with Senator Elizabeth Warren outing Congressman Connor Lamb on a falsified campaign ad for his run for U.S. Senate. Let's start off with the Pitt news that few saw coming. The Pitt Board of Trustees last Thursday was informed that Chancellor Gallagher would be stepping down. Now, the Albuquerque native received his PhD in physics from the University of Pittsburgh back in 1991, before later returning to Pittsburgh as the chancellor over the past 9 years, where he formed a new school, the first new school in decades at the University of Pittsburgh, and watched as enrollment rates amongst the college increased substantially. In a statement provided, Gallagher addressed his desire to move back into the classroom and educate students himself. Now on to Washington, where Senator Elizabeth Warren made headlines after calling on Democratic Senate nominee Connor Lamb to disavow a recent campaign ad that calls Senate Democratic frontrunner John Fetterman a, quote, self-described Democratic socialist. Now, quickly, both PolitiFact and FactCheck.org quickly labeled this statement as false, leading a Philadelphia TV station to even take it off the air entirely. Now, politics is always dramatic, and this week was no different. But I can assure you there is more news on the way. As the senatorial election approaches, we'll keep you updated. For Pitt to the Point, I'm political reporter Josh Byrne. Andrew, Livia.
Thank you, Josh, for keeping us all up to date on the political front.
In broader Pennsylvania news, a school shooting took place earlier this week in Erie, Pennsylvania, which left one student injured. On Wednesday, the suspect turned himself into the police and is currently being held in a juvenile detention facility.
One student who was in a nearby classroom at the time of the shooting claims that they heard 8 gunshots fired. The victim was taken to the emergency room and was treated for gunshot wounds in his upper leg. For the students, staff, and parents impacted by the shooting, counselors and other professionals who are trained to help with emotional needs will be available at the Erie Center for Arts and Technology.
Our city beat reporter Jamie Eli was able to sit down with the mayor of Erie to further discuss the shooting. Jamie?
According to almost 20,000 children are either killed or injured by shootings at school annually. This year, there have been almost 30 incidents of gunfire at schools. And now, another school can be added to that list. Erie High School experienced a shooting that left one person injured and the community shaken. I spoke with Erie Mayor Joe Schember to learn more.
Early Tuesday morning, Erie High School was shocked when shots rang out in the hall.
2 young boys got into a little bit of a hassle, and one pulled out a gun and shot the other one.
According to Schember, the student who was shot was hit at least 3 times, but more shots were fired. Police were on the scene within a minute and a half, and the shooter voluntarily turned himself in the following day. In the aftermath of the shooting, a shaken school community is wondering how to move forward. Teachers at the school have an idea of how to achieve this and make the school safer.
The teachers' union sent a letter to the school district board, basically saying what they like is there's about 86 entrances to that school, and all of them are not locked. So they asked, number one, that all the entrances be locked and can't be opened without a key or something to get out. And they also asked that everybody coming into the school have to go through a metal detector to make sure they're not carrying any kind of weapon. Teachers aren't willing to come back to work at Erie High School until this is in place. So they're going to work remotely until it's better.
Erie High has never experienced a shooting. However, there have been threats in the past and concern amongst the students. Despite the events, Erie High School and the community is optimistic that something like this won't happen again.
There may have been some concern, especially among the students who know more about what might happen than us older people do. So I think there definitely was a concern, and it's a shame that it had to happen. And hopefully, we're happy no one died, and the shooter turned himself in. So now let's get something in place that's going to prevent this from ever happening again.
This is the first school-related shooting in Erie since 1998, when a student killed a teacher at a middle school dance. Students at Erie High will not return to school until April 19th due to the shooting and spring break. More information will be released as police continue their investigation. But for now, officials hope the school community can move past this senseless incident. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Beat reporter Jamie Ely. Andrew, Olivia.
Thank you for that, Jamie.
On Thursday, the Senate confirmed Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the U.S. Supreme Court with a vote of 53 to 47. In what is being lauded as a historic vote, Jackson will be the first Black woman to be appointed to the Supreme Court, as well as the first former public defender to hold the position. She is set to begin over the summer when Justice Stephen Breyer is expected to step down. Coming up after the break, an update on a new healthcare bill that will make a life-saving drug more accessible to millions. Plus, a look into a Holocaust remembrance event that happened on Pitt's campus earlier this week.
All that after the break.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the question. They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
So one inventive tool that the University of Pittsburgh has is Pitt Funds Me. So Pitt Funds Me is for outside scholarships that you can review and apply for as well. There's 8,000 plus scholarships on that website. These scholarships have been vetted as good and reliable resources, so you can guarantee that these are not resources that are trying to steal money or trying to scam you in any way. Any student has access to this, even admitted students who have not deposited yet. When you go into your my.pitt.edu, you'll want to search in the Ask Kathy box, Pitt Funds Me, and make sure instead of an S in Pitt Funds Me, you're going to put a $sign. That will allow you to go into the portal to be able to look at all the outside scholarship opportunities that fit your specific profile. They will ask several questions. You do not have to answer all questions or any questions if you don't want to, but the more questions you answer, the more opportunities that become available to you to apply.
HUP is short for Hail to Pitt, our Panther fight song, but we also use it to express just how much we love it here. There are so many reasons to hail, but here are just a few. Hail to Kathy!
Hail to the Nationality Room.
To WPTS Radio.
Hail to Oakland.
Hail to Shenley Plaza.
Hail to Forbes Avenue.
Hail to the towers.
Hail to Cardiac Hill. To Hillman Library.
Hail to the University of Pittsburgh.
Hail to Pittsburgh.
Hail to Heinz Field.
Hail to Pitt.
Glad to have you back from the break. Our next story features a collaboration between several Jewish organizations at Pitt to commemorate victims of the Holocaust.
This week, the University of Pittsburgh's division of Alpha Epsilon Pi hosted a Walk to Remember, a 24-hour event dedicated to honoring the lives lost during the Holocaust. With more on the story, we go to Pitt beat reporter Chase Murphy. Chase?
Thanks, Livia and Andrew. The Alpha Epsilon Pi fraternity at the University of Pittsburgh hosted a 24-hour Holocaust remembrance called We Walk to Remember this past Wednesday and Thursday on Pitt's campus, where a group walked silently to reflect on those lost in the Holocaust.
The We Walk to Remember Holocaust Remembrance event, sponsored by Alpha Epsilon Pi, was held at the Quad on Pitt's campus on Wednesday into Thursday and highlighted the importance of the names and stories of the Holocaust, as well as hosted educational programming by Hillel JUC and Shabbat at Pitt.
So my name is Seth Pollack. I'm the Vice President of Alpha Epsilon Pi, and We Walk to Remember is done all around the world throughout AEPi, and it's to coincide with Yom HaShoah, which is Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is later this month, but we do a walk to begin to just remember everyone that was lost, that can't take any more steps.
And taking a 20-minute walk without talking to anyone was very powerful. That was very powerful. We're just thinking about, like, why are we walking? What are we doing? And I've never really connected to it the way I've connected to the idea today, to have in the past.
And then for 24 hours, we read the names of those that were lost, so that they're never forgotten.
It started by saying, those that can't walk, we walk for them. It's very cool. It's very powerful to think about, like, hey, all the people that have lost their life to set us safe, how can we make life better?
There was also a United Flame and Kaddish service with Shabbat, and as the event went into the night, the walk turned digital as a Holocaust documentary livestream was held on AEPi's Facebook. In the morning, bagels and mitzvot were given by Shabbat before the closing remarks to complete the 24-hour event. The turnout for the walk was tremendous, and participants resonated with the emotion of the name readings and stories.
It's just to remember like what connects us to Judaism, and then where we go from here, just being able to like move forward together as a Jewish people.
This was the first time since 2019 that the We Walk to Remember event was held in person, as last year it was held virtually and the year before canceled. For more information about the event and how to get involved in future ones, visit AEPi's Instagram page or Hillel at Pitt. Livia, Andrew?
Thanks so much, Chase. In medical news, a new healthcare bill is a part of an effort to lower the cost of insulin, a necessary drug for millions of Americans. More on this is our medical reporter, Sarah Sirignano.
Thanks, guys. Last Thursday, the U.S. House of Representatives approved the Affordable Insulin Now Act, a bill that would cap off the cost of insulin for insured people with diabetes at $35 a month or at 25% of an insurance plan's negotiated price, whichever cost is lower.
So type 1 diabetics need insulin because our bodies don't make insulin, and insulin is essential in breaking down carbs and turning them into energy. So we rely on an analog insulin so that our body can actually break down the carbs that we're eating. Because if we don't get that, then our body wouldn't be able to metabolize any food.
If you're not a diabetic, I don't think people realize how often we need insulin, how often people have to inject insulin or put it into an insulin pump. So I think it's just the amount that people need insulin. It's like prices have increased in past years because the number of diabetics in this country has increased.
It's a business, and it's more of a business model rather than a model set up to like help people and be accessible to all different classes and incomes.
The price for insulin has long been a struggle for many to afford, with costs in the U.S. continually rising and some diabetics paying near $1,000 a month. The staggering price has caused some people to make the hard decision to pay bills or ration their insulin. This bill could save lives and improve the quality of life for the 34 million diabetic Americans.
To me, it would mean a lot because I've been advocating for this type of legislation. I think since I was about 12 years old, I've talked to politicians about legislation like this and how important it would be. And I just wish that people would be more educated about the disease, type 1 and type 2, because I think it would really help the passing of this bill if people just had more knowledge about, the disease as a whole.
The Affordable Insulin Now Act still needs to pass through the Senate, and should it pass, uninsured people would still not benefit from the lower costs. But hopefully, with the possible passing of insulin price caps, more prescriptions will follow, helping to lower the cost of drugs nationwide. For the Medical Minute, I'm Sarah Sirignano. Livia, Andrew?
Thank you so much for that story, Sarah. Very pertinent information for our diabetic communities. Up next, we're happy to collaborate with the Pitt News to share their highlight stories of the week.
On February 19th, the University of Pittsburgh released its long-awaited plan to divest from fossil fuel investment by 2035 and become carbon neutral by 2037. Fossil Free Pitt, a coalition of clubs at Pitt advocating for the divestment of fossil fuels, has stated that the 13-year divestment plan laid out by the university is simply not soon enough. Despite a better start than many expected for Pitt lacrosse in their inaugural season, the Panthers suffered their fourth straight road game defeat against Syracuse on April 2nd. Pitt now falls to 0-4 versus ACC opponents, as the division has been unwelcoming to this first-year Pitt team.
The Oakland plan was in the works, or I guess it's still in the works, but it's been a 2.5-year process. It is a master plan of sorts. One of the big focuses of the plan is making this neighborhood more livable for residents, permanent residents, newcomers and immigrants, but also students, definitely, that it seeks to improve living conditions in Oakland housing. So that's definitely something big for students.
Now, you're not going to want to go anywhere. After the break, we'll hear about how the crime scene investigation television series is making its way right here to Pittsburgh.
And a look at an arts exhibition celebrating the 40th anniversary of a Pittsburgh arts collective. We'll be right back with Pitt to the Point.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
H2P is short for Hail to Pitt, our Panther fight song. But we also use it to express just how much we love it here. There are so many reasons to hail, but here are just a few. Hail to Kathy!
Hail to the Nationality Rooms.
To WPTS Radio. Hail to Oakland.
Hail to Shenley Plaza.
Hail to Forbes Avenue.
Hail to the towers.
Hail to Cardiac Hill.
Tailwind Library. Hail to the University of Pittsburgh.
Hail to Pittsburgh.
Hail to Heinz Field.
Hail to Pitt!
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us on Pitt to the Point. Now, the television series CSI is not coming to Pittsburgh, but what is happening, however, is a student-run organization known as Students Conquering Cold Cases is working closely with the City of Pittsburgh Police Department in order to help solve real-life cases that seem to have come to a dead end.
The club is essentially just a small group of students who are interested and willing to work on unsolved cases. I joined Students Conquering Cold Cases because I had a personal experience very close to me where a close friend actually had her sexual assault case left unsolved. And when I came to Pitt and I looked at the roster of clubs, I saw Students Conquering Cold Cases and immediately knew I wanted to join. And ever since then, it's been the biggest part of my college experience.
It's not just 1 hour of my week. I think about it day in and day out. We sign a confidentiality agreement, so I can't look up the cases when I'm in class, but I'm constantly thinking of them.
We have not solved any cases yet. It is a 7-year club, but at the same time, these cases are cold for a reason. So we go in under the presumption that we might not solve them. In fact, it's likely we won't solve them, but we still want to do anything we can to progress it and put the effort into the case.
Even though we're looking at homicides, we're not just dealing with murdered victims, we're dealing with people who have been affected by the foster care system, people who have been sex trafficked, people who have been raped, and I think that understanding those key aspects to it is very important. It's almost arguably more important than the homicide itself because you get to learn who this person was and what they went through before their final moments. I think the most impactful case that we've looked at, in my opinion, was the murder of Jessica Freeman. Jessica was a 15-year-old, And although she was a sex worker, she really was sex trafficked because of her young age. And I think the fact that she was so young hits very close to home because we are a group of college students, and this is someone who's 5, 6, 7 years younger than us, and they never got to experience what we've gotten to experience.
Despite all the really, 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 really bad things in the world and the bad people that we look at and all the things they did, like, there are really great people like the club and other people out there, and that's just been a huge lesson. Like, in all the darkness, there is light. As simple.
Now, in the story that you just watched, you heard the name of a victim who was a minor. And normally we wouldn't state the name of a minor, but the ladies you just met in the video desired to humanize Jessica Freeman rather than just make her another statistic.
The Students Conquering Cold Cases Club is a student organization truly unlike any other that has a real impact on the lives of the Pittsburgh community.
Now, Woman of Visions, a Pittsburgh-based arts collective of Black female artists, celebrated its 40th anniversary this past October. The exhibition, located in the Frick Fine Arts Building, featured 50 works from 22 Woman of Vision artists. Our entertainment reporter, Molly Hunter, has the story for us. Molly?
Founded in 1981, Women of Visions is believed to be the longest-running collective of Black women artists in the United States. In 2021, they celebrated their 40th anniversary, hosting an exhibition featuring 50 works of art ranging across many sectors that ended just a few weeks ago on February 25th.
I'm really excited to be here at the Frick Fine Arts Building to see the Women of Visions exhibit, which is celebrating 40 years.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the UAG and welcome to the exhibition Women of Vision Celebrating 40 Years. I'm Sylvia and this is Christine Bethia, the president of Women of Visions. So we're happy to walk you through the exhibition. Have you been here before?
I've never been here before.
Oh, welcome.
I think that Pitt does not get the opportunity to have exhibits like of this nature that get to showcase people's culture as often as I think that they should be able to. So I like to support any of them when I see them come up. I just want to see authenticity. I feel like art is just an expression of self, often, if not using words, just in a way that sometimes words can't really capture.
When you look in the gallery, what's your initial thought?
It's so unique. I feel like I sincerely would like to look at every individual piece, and that's really exciting. So I love that. It seems it just exudes talent, and I really enjoy that.
In 1981, a bunch of women got together, visionaries I would call them, ergo our name, Women of Vision, and they just decided it was time for Black women to have a voice in the art world, especially here in Pittsburgh. This is our 40th anniversary, and so we decided that we should try to get at least one piece of art from every woman that was a current member of Women of Visions.
The UAG is the prime exhibition and art space on the University of Pittsburgh campus, and we have a collection of over 3,000 works of art. Every single one of our exhibitions has students at the core, either as curators, as visitors, or as part of our engagement plan. Each student was paired with one of the Women of Visions artists. They interviewed the artists, they began researching their work. At the Women of Visions exhibition marks a new chapter for the University Art Gallery. It's the largest scale exhibition in which we engage contemporary living artists. This is one of my favorite pieces.
It's a family tree. The roots, and that is very powerful.
Satisfaction has come from seeing students come in, particularly students of color. I am a Latina and I actually got my degree from this department, and seeing lack of representation when I was a student makes me very committed to making sure that we have representation for students of color now.
I think it's very ironic that I came over here because this is very deeply rooted in Memphis, of course.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yes.
Oh my gosh, that you were drawn to that. You're
Yes.
a person from Memphis and this is deeply rooted in Memphis. That's wonderful.
I love this. The diversity that I'm seeing, when we see like depictions of Black women, it's always the same silhouette, of like our noses. It's the most acceptable one, and I just really enjoy that I'm seeing really Black women and not just the ideal, acceptable, palatable Black
every
women.
incarnation, you know, the God intended, right?
Right. I think that Black women artists often struggle because I think when we make art for other Black women, and so often it's difficult for people from different backgrounds to look at it and have any clue what we're talking about. It just feels like you're kind of speaking in a secret language, but I think that that's also what makes it special. It's important that we keep showing our art to other people so that one day, they may be able to see what we've been attempting to say for all this time. I appreciate it when we get the opportunity to.
The day the exhibit opened, I was thrilled. We have everybody is represented here and their thought process of how they put their art together, ergo the diversity, the beautiful diversity that's on the walls right now. We feel like of all the shows that we've had, it really epitomizes who Women of Visions is.
Black women's voices are beautiful and powerful, and this exhibition shows it. The City of Pittsburgh is starting to see what we can do here. And this opens a new chapter in this gallery, which I really hope we will keep going in that direction. And this exhibition does it, in particular by highlighting the voices of Black women.
This exhibit includes works from all current Women of Visions members. For more information on Women of Visions, you can head to www.womenofvisionspgh.org. Back to you, Andrew and Livia.
Thank you so much, Molly. Really, what an incredible group of artists.
Earlier this week, Elon Musk purchased a 9.2% stake in Twitter, making him the social media platform's largest stakeholder. The Tesla CEO will also now serve on Twitter's board. The purchase comes while Musk is engaged in a legal battle with the SEC over some of his previous tweets, which publicly consult financial matters of Tesla with his Twitter followers. Musk claims his ability to tweet is a matter of free speech.
Now, coming up after the break, we'll take a look at Pitt football and how they're preparing for their season in the fall, including a special look at their spring blue and gold game.
And a look into the Pittsburgh Pirates and what this season has in store for them.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
So one inventive tool that the University of Pittsburgh has is Pitt Funds Me. So Pitt Funds Me is for outside scholarships that you can review and apply for as well. There's 8,000 plus scholarships on that website. These scholarships have been vetted as good and reliable resources, so you can guarantee that these are not resources that are trying to steal money or trying to scam you in any way. Any student has access to this, even admitted students who have not deposited yet. When you go into your my.pitt.edu, you'll want to search in the Ask Kathy box, Pitt Funds Me, and make sure instead of an S in Pitt Funds Me, you're going to put a $sign. That will allow you to go into the portal to be able to look at all the outside scholarship opportunities that fit your specific profile. They will ask several questions. You do not have to answer all questions or any questions if you don't want to, but the more questions you answer, the more opportunities that become available to you to apply.
Glad to have you back on Pitt to the Point. The annual Pitt football spring game is ready for kickoff as the blue team and the gold team have been decided by way of draft this past week.
With a deeper look is our Pitt sports reporter, Tori Pushman. Tori?
Thank you. Spring football is in the air. After weeks of practice camps, the Pitt Panthers have their traditional blue and gold game tomorrow. The Panthers split the roster in half and hold a yearly scrimmage in order to get in some full game practice and give fans a peek at the next season. We went down to the practice facility for the blue and gold draft on Wednesday to show you how Team Blue and Team Gold get their players.
The draft opened to sounds of ESPN music and radio hosts from The Fan being named honorary coaches. Coach Pat Narduzzi then acted as the commissioner, holding a coin toss to determine who would pick first. Blue won the toss, giving them the first pick, and, for a moment, players got to live out their NFL dreams.
The blue team selects Bengali Kamara.
Drafting started on the linebackers and moved position by position. 12th overall saw Blue drafting tight end Gavin Bartholomew, with Jake Renda going to gold. Wide receiver saw some drama as Biletnikoff Award winner Jordan Addison was the second to last receiver chosen. For other fan favorites, Israel Abanikanda will be wearing gold, his counterpart Daniel Carter wearing blue. The top quarterbacks were already chosen beforehand, with a competition between Kendon Slovis and Nick Patty adding some extra stakes to the game. Slovis will be leading blue, Patty taking up gold team. And for the rest of the roster, the game is not only a chance to have some fun, but it is a chance to build on the new offensive scheme they were learning and get valuable time on the big stage.
So you see the progress in terms of their decision making, in all three areas, whether it's the run game, whether it's the protection phase, whether it's the passing game. You're talking about competitive kids that love the game of football, that got a passion for it. The players have been great. The players and the coaches have embraced what we're doing. A lot of it is what they've done in the past, along with the new concepts. It was important for us this spring to get the run game started early, and the pass game has been awesome too. So, really proud of the group.
The game is going to be held Saturday, April 9th at Heinz Field, with kickoff occurring at 1 p.m. The game will be broadcast, so every fan out there will get to see all the action. The defending ACC champs have high expectations going into this season, and this game will be the culmination of weeks of practicing to play the part. With Pitt to the Point, I'm sports reporter Tori Pushman. Now we're going to be going over to City sports reporter David Altman for a check-in with the Pirates. David?
Thanks, Tori.
Pirates opened their season the other day, facing against division rivals the St. Louis Cardinals yesterday. The Pirates had a tough day pitching, going through 6 pitchers as they took their first loss of the season. Ke'Bryan Hayes had to step out of the game with a wrist injury after signing the largest contract in Pirates history for $70 million for 8 years. He was taken out by manager Derek Shelton due to hand and wrist injuries from last year. Shelton wanted to keep it conservative with his playing time. This season is a little different than the previous few since there have been a few rule changes in the National League, most notably the addition of a universal designated hitter. Pirates signed Daniel Vogelbach from division rivals the Milwaukee Brewers. Originally a first baseman, started and led off at universal DH yesterday, having 3 at-bats and striking out once. The final score was 9-0 Cardinals, with this game giving us more questions than answers for this year's season. The Pirates are looking to overcome this loss and solve the issues they have at hand with their game against the St. Louis Cardinals again at 2:15 tomorrow. Join us next week when we're live from PNC Park to see their game against the Cubs. From Pitt to the Point, I'm City Sports reporter David Altman. Andrew, Olivia?
Thank you, David.
Now,
After the break, we have our alumni spotlight, which will feature an alumni doing a great organization that is bringing light to bikers in Pittsburgh. See you after the break.
University Store on 5th is more than a college bookstore. We are independently owned and operated by the university, and we've been that way for more than 100 years. The consistent campus support allows us to respond to the changing needs of our customers, provide personalized service and quality merchandise, support the university's initiatives, and represent Pitt with Panther pride.
The U-Store has all the course materials that you need. Whether you want to purchase or rent your books, or you're interested in digital materials, we can help.
Looking for the latest tech and accessories? We carry all the biggest brands. As an Apple authorized campus store, you will receive the best in educational pricing on your favorite Apple products. Plus, our repair center and student technical support are conveniently located in the store and are ready to get your tech back in working order.
Visit us to shop the latest Pitt apparel, school supplies, and the largest independent book selection in the city, all without leaving campus. And when it comes to services, visit the Center for Creativity, which offers members of the Pitt community a space to engage their hands and minds.
It's easy to shop online and pick up in store. We accept financial aid and Panther funds for your convenience. At the U-Store, we put pride in everything that we do so that you can put Panther pride in everything that you do. So stop by today and let us help you. Hail to Pitt!
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point. Our alumni spotlight this week is Annalena Kemper. Annalena is the director of Pittsburgh Babes on Bikes, a group that highlights women and underrepresented genders in biking events and races in Pittsburgh. I caught up with Annalena earlier this week to talk about her work.
Riding bikes was a huge part of my experience when I went to Pitt. I lived on campus for one semester, but after that I moved to my current location in Lawrenceville. And so I would bike to work or bike to class every day. And so when I was at Pitt, all of my friends that also rode bikes who were at Pitt, the coolest thing was that you would always know where they were because you could see where their bikes were locked up and you would get to know people by their bikes. So Pittsburgh Babes on Bikes, originally, the first iteration of it was as a fundraising calendar that raised money for the women's shelter. The revamp of Pittsburgh Babes on Bikes essentially was a women's cycling advocacy organization. And the main thing that we did is we threw these street races. The biggest, most popular alley cat we throw was the Frigid Bitch, which is a women and underrepresented gender identity race that happens every February. It's gotten really big, and that is a fundraiser for the women's shelter. The nice thing about the Frigid Bitch is, on one hand, anybody can do it because you only have to make it to one checkpoint to place in the race. So if you're, super out of shape and you're not into doing long miles and you just want to have fun and challenge yourself, you can just make it to a couple of checkpoints and then come back to the finish. But if you want to win the race, it's hard. Winning this race is really hard. And it's not only women who can race the Frigid, but it's women and underrepresented gender identities. So no cis men really are racing in it. One of the best things that I get out of both Pittsburgh Babes on Bikes and Frigid is I feel like there's all these really cool people who participate in these things that I've created, and I get to be friends with them. Like I get to just default them into my social network.
Pittsburgh Babes on Bikes annual Alley Cat race takes place in February. Photos of the event and more information about the group can be found on their website, pittsburghbabesonbikes.com. Coming up after the break, a look inside one of the most highly decorated faculty in Pitt athletics.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh. Forge ahead.
Hello and welcome back to Pitt to the Point. E.J. Borghetti is the Executive Associate Athletic Director for Media Relations and is one of the longest tenured members of the University of Pittsburgh's athletic department. We are fortunate enough to have an inside look at his role with Pitt Athletics.
My name is E.J. Borghetti. I'm the Executive Associate Athletic Director for Media Relations, or as I like to refer to myself as the sports info guy. You know, my profession is a personal passion of mine, and I have a personal investment in the University of Pittsburgh and certainly Pitt football. I never had the opportunity to actually wear the blue and gold jersey, wear the helmet, but my father did.
From the Irish 1, Rick Leeson plunges over for the score, and Pittsburgh is on top.
Every day I walk down the hallways of the Pitt football facility, and there are images of the first-team All-Americans who played for the Panthers, and proud to say that my father was a first-team All-America tackle in 1963. In fact, my first Pitt football game was in the fall of 1976.
The Panthers won the national championship of college football
At the tender age of 6, and it's been a part of my life now for 45 years and counting. Pitt football in the Borghetti household, we treat it like Christmas holidays. They are always special times for our family. What I love about this team, hardworking. It earned 11 wins. It earned our first ever outright ACC football championship. I think this team represents the very best of who Pitt is, the best of Western Pennsylvania. By winning the ACC championship, the reward is to be able to play in a New Year's Six Bowl. And for Pitt to have the opportunity to play in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is a great reward for a championship season.
The Panthers are ACC champions.
I am blessed. You know, the Pitt football family has become my family. And that's one of the great blessings of this job. And I know it's going to be a great experience down in Atlanta.
Under his supervision, Pitt's Sports Information Department has been named one of the best in the country 4 times, and Borghetti has even been awarded the Scoop Hudgens Award, given to the nation's best sports information director. EJ and his wife Lauren are both graduates of the University of Pittsburgh, and we are lucky enough to have them both still working in our community. Now, coming up, we're going to be highlighting what many might consider their dream job and the furry coworkers that come along with it. All of that after the break.
H2P is short for Hail to Pitt, our Panther fight song, but we also use it to express just how much we love it here. There are so many reasons to hail, but here are just a few. Hail to Kathy!
Hail to the Nationality Room.
To WPTS Radio.
Hail to Oakland.
Hail to Shenley Plaza.
Hail to Forbes Avenue.
Hail to the towers.
Hail to Cardiac Hill. To Hillman Library. Hail to the University of Pittsburgh.
Hail to Pittsburgh.
Hail to Heinz Field.
Hail to Pitt.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions and then questioning the answers. Embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh. Forge ahead.
Thank you for watching Pitt to the Point. We are back with a story on a group of Pitt students training puppies. The Step at Pitt Club partners with Canine Companions to train dogs, taking puppies with them to classes and around campus.
So Canine Companions is a nonprofit organization based out in Santa Rosa, California. Essentially, we partner with Canine Companions, so they are our parent organization where we receive all of our dogs from. With that being said, essentially our role for Step at Pitt is we are volunteer puppy raisers as well as for the organization. And what we kind of do is we provide financial relief from for the organization, since they are a nonprofit. We provide veterinary care, we feed them, we provide socialization opportunities, we train them in like 30 commands. Essentially, we kind of get them a good start off before they go back into professional training after 15 to 18 months with us, and then hopefully get matched with their forever person. So for our organization, we actually have about like 5 placements that the dogs could go through. So they could be a hearing dog, a PTSD dog, they could be a skilled companion, which is essentially a service dog but for children, or just doing mobility tasks, so just a general service dog for someone who may be older, or young adult. Even though puppy raising is definitely about like the dogs and like getting to know the dogs and sending the dogs on to their forever person, like a really good and amazing aspect for college raisers is the community that you get. There are literally so many people that help you out in so many different ways, whether that be with like training questions or just if you need like a friend. Like everyone is so kind and nice, and puppy raising is really an interesting bond that not a lot of people have or understand. Yeah, so if you're interested in wanting to raise, we do have applications open on our website and on which is kind of linked in our Instagram. We also have an email that you can look us up on Engage, the website, and essentially there you can email your interest and we'll direct you to the right place, etc. So yeah.
Always great to feature adorable little furry creatures on the show. You can learn more about them at stepatpitt.wixsite.com.
Those dogs certainly are adorable. Seeing them working hard all over campus never fails to put a smile on my face.
Absolutely. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, KDKA and CBSN, for all that they do to support our show. We'd also like to thank Jamoke Davis and the Pitt Communications Office for the wonderful feature stories that they provided us. We love working with them and appreciate their work. I'm Livia Rappaport.
And I'm Andrew Mundy. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Pitt to the Point, your #1 news source for all things happening at Pitt, all the way
to the point.